Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to today's live. Just give me a thumbs up that you can hear me, see me, all okay, because I'm just, because of the Wi-Fi issues that I've been having, I've had to move locations. I'll give you a few minutes to just respond in the chat, but welcome to today's live. I'm the Urban Seer, your guide to love, destiny, and manifesting the life you desire. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope today's session brings you some peace, brings you some clarity and comfort. So let's take a deep breath, center ourselves, and see what the universe has to say for us today. Awesome, thank you, Anne, for confirming. Hey Anne, hey Pooja, hey Kerry, hey Sruthi, Stephanie, thanks for confirming, Sruthi. For anyone new here, quick reminder, if you would like a free reading, just click the link in the pinned comment and you'll be added to the list, and just wait for your name to be called. A reminder of how I read, so I'm an energy reader, connecting to your energy and anyone else in the situation and your situation. So please provide as much context and detail as possible. I don't do yes, no questions, timelines, or general readings. But let's get into it. Thank you, Pooja. I'm sorry about Monday. Yeah, that was really disappointing that I was also, and then I work from the garden office, and normally the Wi-Fi is down, but it just decided to be problematic. I tried to fix it yesterday and it still was just not good, so I've moved to the main house, so hopefully that will be smooth just until I get that fixed. I'm going to go over and grab the list. I'll have to close the list soon, just to be aware for anyone wanting to be added, because it is filling up fast. But let's get into it, hey. Sorry to hear that you've been unwell, Namira. I hope you're doing better. Love and prayers to you. First half of the list, I'm going to have to break this up because it's filling up. First up, we have Pooja, my love. If you want to go ahead, post your question. And I'm using the Guardian of the Night Tarot, which has some really lovely nature, animal images. So I hope you enjoy that. I'm also using my new camera as well set up, so hopefully things are a little bit, image wise, things are improved as well. But let's get into it. So Pooja asks, I have an upcoming exam on November the 30th, 25, which has 2 stages, written and interview. I would like to know if I will be able to qualify both stages and achieve final section. So I don't do yes, no questions, Pooja. Let's see what advice Spirit has for you going into this, leading up to this, and see what the energy is surrounding it, okay? What will be most helpful for you to know to have the outcome that you want. So I hope that I think that's the best way, you know, with how I read. Like I said, don't do yes, no questions. Page of Wands. It's almost like the calm before the storm for some reason is what I'm hearing, what I'm feeling with this. The page, whenever we see a page, assessment and critical thinking, like not just rushing in. So I don't know if this is about how you're approaching your studies, how you're approaching this exam. It's kind of like we're still gathering information, we're still kind of understanding, getting to grips with what's ahead of us and what it involves. Now the wands as well is about being very direct in communication and in action. So I don't know if you have, I feel like there's something here about finding out, don't be shy about either seeking help, seeking clarity about what this will involve. So if you've got, I don't know how the setup of the studies is, or friends who have done it before, it's like get as much information on this as you can. Information is power. It's also about very much wands is about taking action, so not waiting for everything to be perfect, but just kind of going for it, that element of just going for it, which I feel like is maybe if there's any kind of procrastination energy around studying or prepping or things that you can do to help yourself, like just begin now, like start doing it now and reach out to any resource that you can. Now, don't be shy, okay? Don't be reticent about it. One more, please, Spirit. The High Priestess, your intuition as well will guide you on this. This is kind of to be your superpower. There's something around this process as well, an exam about building trust in yourself, trusting your, listening to your gut. So maybe if you've been second guessing yourself or having self-doubt, you know, it's about tuning those voices out as well. But maybe your intuition is trying to guide you to the right people, places, things leading up to this. And it's about trusting your intuition is trying to speak to you already on this, Pooja. So don't just take things on face value. Again, that's almost reiterating this message. We need to kind of go deeper. So don't just believe what you're told or what you are given on the 3D. Go to your intuition is trying to tell you what is behind that, so behind the veil. So maybe people's experiences about what this really involves will be helpful. Trying to get a really clear picture of what is really going on with this and what is required. This is a very unique message, so I hope that it resonates for you. Both positive cards, but about gathering information and trusting yourself and being really proactive about prepping for this. So I hope that helps, Pooja. I hope that resonated. Okay, so team next. If you want to go ahead and post your question, please do. I think I'll have to close this now just to make sure that I get through everyone. Thank you, Tia. Okay, I'm just gonna close the list. One moment. Pooja says, thank you so much, Mom. It helped a lot. Thanks for offering the guidance. No problem. Keep us posted. Let us know how you get on with that, Pooja. Okay, so Tia asks, Pisces reached out after some time of no contact. He says it's due to family. Our communication is kind of strained. but we have plans to hang the weekend. What's next for us? Okay. Spirit, what's next for Tia and the Pisces, please? Didn't we get this on, I feel like we got this last week. Nine of Pentacles, it really does feel positive. Okay, I know I'm going to touch on a bit about this strained energy. This strained energy that you are feeling between the Pisces. I'll ask that specifically. But the road ahead, ultimately, this is like positive energy, Nine of Pentacles. It's a very kind of satisfied energy. It has a peacefulness to it. There is Nine of Pentacles is very abundant as well. So obviously the Nine of Pentacles comes right before the 10. The 10 is like the culmination of really a kind of having everything that you want. Pentacles as well is grounded. I feel like this is telling me that things will get back on track, Tia. So if things feel a bit wobbly now, that energy will shift and things will feel more peaceful. It feels like autumnal as well, so time period wise, I know I don't directly do timelines, but obviously if something specific comes through, I'll never turn away a message, you know. That things will get back on track and you will feel more at peace. Both of you will feel more at peace. Let's just have a look about this kind of strain, tension, energy, if Spirit can help touch on that at all. Oh, cards are flying out. Too many. Let's try that again. Four of Cups. So someone, both of you, is feeling some kind of rejection here, Tia. Which makes sense because communication has not been good, yeah, so that's natural. I remember last time as well, because I know that you're saying it's family, but I know on a deeper level what came through was that there was some insecurity happening on their side. That they felt maybe like that maybe that this wasn't like a sure thing, even though I don't feel like that you've given them any reason to do that, but that doesn't really always matter, you know. If someone's feeling insecure, that's their issue, it's not yours. But then because they're kind of reacting in that insecure way, then they've kind of distanced themselves, and that can create this cycle where obviously you would naturally feel rejected, etc. Now with the Four of Cups, it's like you really do just have to kind of leave things alone is always my advice with Four of Cups, not to kind of dig into it, like more just let it pass here, which is kind of your way round this and your way through this. So I'll trust that you will find your way, you'll navigate your way round this. Maybe the insecurity that they're feeling will drop, you know, over time, that they'll be able to get beyond that, but kind of like trying to resolve it or have a deep conversation about it at this time anyway, I feel it can only aggravate it because they've retreated into their shell. And this is quite a scaly, I think this is an armadillo, but it's like the tough shell is on at the minute. So we just have to leave sometimes with people as well, just leave them to it to kind of move through this in their own time and their own space. But the fourth cup represents the solution and the way past this, and then we can move into this Nine of Pentacles, which is a much calmer, more stable energy. So I hope that helped, Tia. Guys, I post the list regularly, so just bear with. I'll update it now. This is the final list, yeah, which I'll go and post now. You're welcome, Tia. Crystal, 1983, my love, you were next. There we go. Awesome. Thank you, Crystal, for being on it. Just posting the list now. So Crystal asks, what is the current energies, emotions of the heart, mind, soul of Nixon towards Kerry-Ann? And what chance of communication now that we are going to court, sadly? No contact, blocked, messy. Oh, Crystal. Dare I ask? Obviously, I imagine that it's not wise to share. So are we still hoping for reconciliation, even though we find ourselves here? No judgment, I understand if you do, but that does sound very tricky. Let's have a look how they're feeling now. Okay, obviously this can change, but let's do a check-in. Page of Pentacles. As we say, a page energy, just like before with that Page of Wands. Obviously it's different because it's Pentacles, but page is always a period of assessment, Crystal, okay? So they are, again, in a state of kind of gathering information when it comes to you and weighing the situation up. I mean, I don't see an intense, I'm going to pull another card, but I don't see, like, I don't know the ins and outs, obviously, of your situation, but I don't see a big amount. I don't see anger particularly. I don't see, it's almost like they're in a pragmatic state of mind. When we see a Page of Pentacles, it's like maybe they just want to get through this. One foot in front of the other, yeah? like putting in the work, taking the next step that needs to be done, maybe to try and put this to bed, you know, to try and get taking it step by step, just doing what needs to be done. So that's where they're at now. Let's have a look at future energies. Well, then we do have more feelings coming in, because sorry, that's page, this is the Knight. And the Knight of Cups is the feelings that may come up after this. So maybe if you do have a resolution, you get through these kind of practical steps. The Knight of Cups, there are still feelings here, there are still emotions. I mean, the Cups is about love, is about romance, about matters of the heart. So, you know, I suppose all is not lost throughout seeing this card, because they still have feelings here for you, for this situation. And this would suggest that they would come forward with this, with expressing their emotions and their feelings that still remain, still remain full. But nonetheless, what needs to happen first, which kind of makes sense, yeah, is that they're just kind of going through the motions, trying to get through this stage, and that's kind of where they're at now. They can't get into how they feel. They're being pragmatic. The feelings will come later. The feelings will come after. So I hope that brings you some clarity, Crystal. Okay. Sruthi, my love, you want to go ahead and post your question? We have Sruthi. Ellie, are you going to be ready? You're very welcome, Crystal. Keep us posted, yeah? I'm just going to, thank you, Vinny. I'm just going to wait for Sruthi to post first, just because she's next, but thank you for posting your question. Shruti asks, can you read into my energy and find why I keep attracting really good friends, but after a point of time they drift apart and start ghosting me? Am I doing something wrong? Interesting question, Shruti. Let's have a look. This happens every year. I'm tired of this. Let's see what's going on. Spirit, please help Shruti regarding these friendships. I mean, Five of Swords is about, it's a tough energy to deal with. Now, what comes through really, Shruti, is, you know, Swords is about being committed to our truth and speaking our truth and being. And sometimes because of that, yeah, like that we do lose people who aren't meant for us. When I was shuffling the cards, what came through as well was the quote, what's for us won't go by us. Five of Swords can be about, you know, disagreements, challenges. Like, let me know how it happens. Do you have tension and disagreements in conversations? And I don't know if you're, because there's also this energy about Five of Swords that is that this kind of energy passes. So I don't know if I know you said you're being ghosted. I'm just wondering kind of what comes before that, if it's conflict, like if it's spoken, if that makes sense, if the conflict that you have with friends is, or if you think it's going well and then it's just like phased out. No, everything goes smoothly. Okay. You get no warning of this and then they're just gone. This is your energy for sure. Like you're this deer. And it's almost like these represent the friendships, yeah, that have not worked out, that have almost been cut to the quick, isn't it? And it looks bleak here, you know, that's left you with a disappointed feeling and the sadness, obviously. Spirit, can you tell me more about why this is happening? So it's almost that saying like that's what's happened. Knight of Cups. I feel again this is like your energy, which is a pure offering. A Knight of Cups. I don't feel, what I feel like really is that it's what the message is. I don't feel like you're doing anything wrong, Sruthi. I just feel like sometimes, you know, people do look at this like they kind of let us down, yeah. And for whatever reason has been going on with them, who knows, that life pulls them in different directions. And the way they go about it, they haven't been able to communicate in a good way, communicate their truth and be honest, I guess. But your offering feels true, feels pure. So what can you do about this? If anything, you might not be able to do anything about this. It's just sometimes that harsh truth that people let us down. People don't step up. People are unreliable. People can be self-absorbed. Yeah, of course you would feel sad about this, Ruthie. So what can we do? Or tell us more about connections that are long lasting. This is interesting. Have you had, so a tower moment, Shruti, is like a big period of upheaval, you know, a real shakedown of our situation, and can involve a lot of loss. And in that loss, we can lose in that process. So I'm wondering if you have experienced that in the last few years, or if that kind of energy has been surrounding you, because it can be a very heavy energy to be in. But ultimately, the silver lining of the tower energy is that it's removing people from your life who don't serve you, or removing you from a situation that doesn't serve you. Like, say just one example, it can be like job loss, like having redundancy or something like that. But it's actually, it was like a toxic job and it wasn't good for you. In a way that spirit comes in and kind of picks you up out of a situation and puts you elsewhere. But it's pretty brutal at the time when it's going on, and it can be quite heavy. So I feel like spirit in a way is just keeps just, these people aren't for you. So it's not your energy. Like I said, you were coming forward with this genuine energy, with an open heart, with something to offer. And here you are showing up as this deer here who has depth, who has beauty, you know, all these good vibes. And really these people are just not right for you, and they just keep being swept out of your energy field in a way, okay? That they're just, the connections, they're not in alignment with you, they're not going to serve you. Again, going back to that first message that came through for me when I read for you, what's for you won't go by you. So these friendships, these people that have been before, they just weren't meant for you. But you know, that is difficult to experience that in reality, yeah. But ultimately it's best for our higher self, it's best for our life path. Maybe these people probably would just be drains on you, would not be bringing good energy for you, would not benefit you. So they're just being cleared, swept away. Suthi says, it's removing everyone from my life now. Exactly. I have conflicts with family and now friends are disappearing. It's hard, yeah, it is hard. I've experienced that myself, a lot of loss in an intense period of time. And it's only really on the other side of it that you can see how it wasn't right for you what was taken. So yeah, ultimately it's a good thing that they're going away. It's tricky, but they weren't, their energy was not good for you. That was not right for you. They are being, like you say, it's spirit is removing everyone from your life who is not serving you. And understand as well that holding space, like when people have gone, if we can hold the vacuum, and there will be new connections. If you can keep an open heart throughout this process, new connections will be made. But ultimately, yeah, these people weren't for you. So I hope that resonated, Shruti. Okay, Veni, my love, this is for you. Just give me a shout that you're here. So Veni asks, how will my career be in October? Can I expect finally a breakthrough in finding a new job? I've applied for a few. So obviously I don't do yes no questions as mentioned, but I can see what the energy in October is surrounding you, Benny, for sure, to see what that will bring through around job. Spirit, please bring a message through for Benny regarding career, regarding a new job. I can't speak. Thank you, Shruti. Shruti says, thank you for clarity. I will no longer focus on these people. Yeah. Thank you so much. I will keep my heart open. Yes. Blessed be. Okay, Benny, this is for you. Benny, Benny, Benny. October. Work. Career. Ooh. Very positive, okay? 8 of Pentacles is all about work. So this actually sees you working. So would suggest, so like I said, I don't do yes, no, but this is a positive, encouraging message, Benny, okay? we see this bee, this wasp, who is working hard and working on something valuable, yeah? Creating something of value here. And creating some honey, but also Pentacles is about money and it's about finances, Venny. So this will come through, okay? This is a card that is full of hope, that is full of promise. Just keep showing up and doing what you need to do, which sounds like you are. You know, you're applying, you'll go to the interviews, you'll do what you need to do. And this is like the reward and the benefit for that. But this is you kind of actively working on your craft and in a job that I see. It's like we're on the other side of it. This is going to the interviews and doing that process. This feels like it's like you're in a job. So really it's answered that question, but because I'm nosy I have to ask a final message here. Interesting. King of Cups, maybe a bit of an emotional roller coaster happening here, because the King of Cups brings the message of it's hard, yeah, when we are not in work and looking for work, and maybe when this job happens as well, that it might be a bit of an emotional roller coaster, because the King of Cups is all about being in the feelings but not being overwhelmed. This could also be what's come through, so a double message here. That's a message for you, so hang on to your hat, process your feelings, try not to get, you know, too disappointed, say if there may be rejections up until you actually get the job that you want. Just work on grounding yourself and centering yourself. But also the King of Cups, what also came through the second half of the message, this could be someone, a kind of manager position, or someone who has something to do with employing you in this role. So a water sign, these people, so you can spot their energetic signature, Venny, is the King of Cups energy, reserved, someone who is very thoughtful before they speak, so they think carefully before speaking. They often can be someone of few words, but they do think and feel deeply about things and what's important to them. Could be a water sign, could have this prominent in their chart, yeah? They kind of go on intuition and gut feeling as well. A positive force, but they could have something to do with you and this role. I feel like a significant person, so watch out for that energy as well. You know, if you're in an interview and someone kind of presents with those qualities, that could be a message for you, a sign for you that this is the one. Hope that resonated, Benny. Exactly, Pooja, well said. Okay, Samreen, my love. In last reading, I asked you to do a comparison, yes, I remember, between two people, Tinder guy and pilot. Their Tinder energy wasn't much stable. That turns out to be true. He wanted to meet over weekend. I was busy. Now the only potential I'm left with is pilot. What's the spirit guide to keep this relationship going and making it more stable in the future? Okay, good question. It's always good with tarot to ask, what can I do in this situation to get the outcome that I want? It's often a good way to approach the cards. Ugh, Samreen said, I couldn't meet the Tinder guy due to commitment and he stopped replying to my texts and ghosted me. How rude. You know, we've all got lives, we've all got busy, we're all busy. There's no need to be like that, right? Believe in it, Benny. Manifest that happening. Yeah? Believe in the messages that Spirit has for you. And trust in that. Okay, Samreen, let's have a look about advice with your pilot. Make this more stable, etc. Our Page of Wands returns. We're gathering information all the time, Samreen, still. This is you, yeah? Pages, like I've mentioned a few times today, collective energy sometimes come through with page, where it's almost like the pause before the action, okay? Because even though this is wands, which is fire, which talks about heart's desires, passions, making moves, I feel like you're already a very proactive person and is not someone who would hesitate, or sometimes I think your energy can even move too fast and that you would get ahead of yourself. So there's something about a page as well, that it's about making the right moves at the right time. So page is about being in critical thinking, assessing the situation, letting this pilot tell you who they are, if that makes sense, like getting to know each other, finding out more about them. Let them show you who they are, Samreen, and listen. Because if we're just moving and rushing, then we often miss things. And then when you know, like when the time is right to sort of take action, or to speak out, or to suggest doing something even together, however it might manifest, about action, however that might manifest, by the information that you'll gain, you'll make the moves. That makes sense. It's kind of about tethering a little bit that passion and that fire energy that I feel like that you possess, and that is also in this connection. There is passion, there is heart's desires, so this is all a good sign. But let's also not be impulsive, let's also not rush in, let's use our mind. One more message, please, Spirit. So that's how we make this last the distance. This is how we give it the best chance. We don't rush in. Interestingly, you'll also be faced with some decisions. So this makes me think that, I mean, keep your options open as well for other people to enter the picture for you, Samreen. Don't put all the eggs in one basket. But at some point there will be a time in the future where you have to, not have to, but choose to maybe commit to one person and be exclusive. I think in the meantime, this Two of Swords is saying it's okay to keep your options open. And then at some point it will become too stressful to do that. And it will be time to make a leap, like the frog here, to make a decision. And there will be like a, can you see how this is a fork in the road? You're going to have to go on your gut, the moon, you're going to have to go on your gut and your intuition, as always. But particularly when we are, you know, making big decisions, we can get too trapped in our own head and become fearful and anxious about making a wrong move, when ultimately we have to do what feels right in that moment with the information that we've got. We can only make a decision with where we are at in this time and space. That's why hindsight can be such a painful thing sometimes, because it's like, oh, if I knew then what I know now. So I hope that resonates, Samreen. Hey, Kaiser. thank you for your message. I don't do paid readings at the moment, it's just free readings, and the list is closed for today, but I will be live on Friday again, so I go live Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, if you can join us then. And I'll confirm the time on Thursday, always the day before the live. I'll confirm the time and open the list, so you can pre-book to ensure that you get on the list. You're welcome, Samreen. Okay, so Anne. Why do I feel such a deep and unique connection to the person on my mind, even without contact? And what purpose does it hold in my life? Awesome. Asking the deep questions. You're welcome, Kaiser. Hope you can join us on Friday. Okay, and this is for you. So first half of that question, why do I feel such a deep and unique connection to the person on your mind? So why? And then the second half, what purpose does it hold in my life? Okay, so why do you feel such a deep and unique connection? Is because this is the beginning of something that has a lot of potential, Anne. So even if it's slow, like even if communication goes in and out, is quiet, is non-existent, but this still has, nonetheless, it has an expansive energy. Look at this owl. The owl has wisdom. The owl has this huge wingspan. And also, as we know, aces are about new beginnings. So this has started something. This is the beginning of something that has a lot of potential, because we need to start with the ace in order to get to the 10. The 10 is, as we know, kind of one of the cards that represents having a dream fulfilled in many respects, having the life that we are working towards, having the life that we desire. There's so much prosperity, there's so much abundance in this image. I'm so drawn to all the gold, yeah, and pentacles as well, because it's earth energy, so it is grounded in reality. Maybe you might question sometimes, Anne, you know, why, like you say, why am I feeling sort of such big feelings on maybe something that hasn't developed into a huge amount? But it's okay to trust that and lean into that and believe in the potential, and that this is the start of something big. I don't know what the blocks are, or if you know what they are, that would obviously be a different kind of reading and maybe take more in-depth, you know, more cards, etc. But that's in answer to the question. I really love that card. All this gold, it's so full, like this flower that is blooming, this wise owl with the expansion, this huge coin surrounded by kind of magical magic. Let's move on to the second half, which is, what purpose does this hold in your life? Interesting. The Hanged Man, Major Arcana. There's that gold sort of echoing through again. I mean, the Hanged Man is about, to some extent, it's all about, what I want to say first is about changing your perspective. There isn't anything that you need to do differently, Anne. I think that's the first message as well. The Hanged Man it's quite an uncomfortable position to be in, where you're at now, this kind of waiting, this stillness, this not knowing. And all we can do is kind of trust in the process. Maybe the shift of perspective is to believe in the potential of this connection. Only you know what kind of is going on behind the scenes, but what will free you or what will help you now, and what's the lesson of this connection and where you're at now, and the purpose is about a shift in perspective that is needed. There's something about how we're looking at this situation that maybe is not clear. We're not seeing it clearly. I'll just pull one more, see if it'll tell me any more about that. Maybe that makes sense to you and who is living this. Maybe that already resonates. Five of Swords, which is sometimes often to do with past losses, past disagreements. Again, what was kind of came up earlier for this card for Sruthi about losses and understanding about things that we've lost in the past was not right for us, but it can feel quite bleak and lonely. But something about the perspective shift is also connected to what's brought you to this point. Healing some of that pain from the past. Shifting out of maybe that bleak energy that maybe is still being held in your heart somewhere. This Five of Swords, I feel like, really tested your faith and really tested your belief in maybe a connection and human connections in general. Okay, I'll leave it there. I hope that resonated. It's resonating, says Anne. Thanks for confirming. Okay, keep things moving. So next it's me again. And then Eco 7. There's the list. I can get it in one now. It's me again says, may I have an update on A's intentions towards me? We are in no contact currently. We have a situationship for some time. Thank you for that context. It's me again. I appreciate that. You're welcome, Anne. Okay, A's intentions. Ooh, cards are jumping. Something to say. Knight of Pentacles. Take their time, slow moving energy. Sometimes the night can move so slowly that it can feel like there's no movement happening at all. But there is. There's a very cautious energy that's coming from them. Maybe they're wary of this connection now of re-entering. I would say that they're still interested. The Knight is ultimately is kind of forthcoming, and sort of moving towards this moving towards this connection. But it is cautious, it is slow moving. I'm drawn to some this donkey looks suspicious to me. So maybe they're scared. I don't know what went on previously. Maybe they got hurt. Maybe it just didn't work out for whatever reason. But there is a cautiousness here. What else do we need to know about this spirit? Ooh. Kind of feel like this is your energy. Donkey's stubborn too, yeah. Page of Swords, so this is your energy, which is, I mean, maybe you feel a little bit defensive. I don't know, it's me again. This is, sometimes the Page of Swords can be a little bit prickly, yeah. Sometimes the Page of Swords, they are very committed to the truth, yeah. Above the swords are committed to the sword suit are all about the commitment to the truth above all else. Even if it hurts other people, even if it hurts yourself, it's about speaking. Sometimes words can hurt, can cut deep. Maybe something, the way that you communicate can sometimes maybe come across harsh, even though your intention is good. How have you as well, or maybe another part of this message can be that you need to speak your truth more and speak out and be direct. So tell you what resonates on that one. Both those things can be true as well at the same time. When have you tried to reach out to them? I'm just wondering, because sometimes for the Page of Swords, that as if you may have to be the instigator to, if you want to open up the communication lines again, it may have to come from you because you've got a more direct energy, and more forthright. There's a tiny bit of it, like a feel here. I'll leave it at that, but there's kind of like a standoff going on here. It says, yes, exactly, I am direct, but quite patient too. So tell you what resonates that if you feel like that, you may have to be the one to open the communication lines here. You might have already tried and that hasn't worked, then it's up to you. You may just have to wait for this Knight of Pentacles to warm up and to be a bit less cautious, yeah? But if you feel like it could be beneficial to be direct, to speak your mind, to reach out, then that's okay as well. Because there is a bit of a standoff here. Maybe someone needs to make a move, yeah? But like I say, you might have already tried, in which case we just need to wait it out. Tell what resonates, leave what doesn't, as always. Okay, Eco 7. You are next, my love. We have Eco 7 and then we have Anshaman. Both go ahead and post, just so we can keep things moving. As my recent workflow has been stagnant, rather stuck with too many obstacles. May I ask for guidance on how to move on with positivity? I'm sorry to hear that, Eco 7. You've had so many blocks on this journey. It's a struggle, yeah? Trying to persist. Tell me, Anshuman, about your current love situation, just so that I've got context. Thank you. Eco 7, this is for you. Guidance on how to move on with positivity. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Major Arcana, so there is big energy in this, in your workflow, around this, around your career, around work. The card of Judgment, we see here a snake is shedding old skin. So I feel like you're almost in this kind of constant state of like rebirth, or you are going through a rebirth, Eco 7, through this process. And I mean, this snake has emerged glowing, abundant. It involves as well, so judgment about, you know, maybe making Eco 7 like some tough judgment calls. So making some tough decisions, letting go, being discerning. That's always the word that I kind of associate with the Judgment card, is discernment, which is about making the right choices, yeah, and letting go of projects that are weighing you down. So maybe this is a time as well to reassess, Eco 7, if there's any baggage that you're carrying with you regarding this, about something that isn't supporting your journey to success. Because we are on a journey to success with this gold depicted by this gold snake. But there is some old skin and some old baggage that we need to shed. And we're constantly doing that, particularly if you're kind of self-employed and you've got your own business. But any business, yeah, is constantly evolving, isn't it? Changing, tweaking, upgrading, that kind of vibe. So what I would say is how to move on with positivity. Maybe if there's, can you trim the fat anywhere? Is there anything that is just a drain and not working? You know, it's like we've tried it, it's not working. Okay, let's switch it up and do something different. And then we can move into our Queen of Pentacles, which is like a much more abundant, rewarding energy. Yeah, the Queen of Pentacles is busy working, has lots of work, you're freeing up the channels, yeah. Work on your manifestation process as well. So you could look at your own internal blocks alongside actual, you know, 3D in real, like IRL blocks, yeah. So cross-reference with those, like look at internal blocks. Can we do some removal of those? Because the Queen of Pentacles is busy, but she's thriving, and that's where we're aiming for. That's where you want to be, yeah, in your business, adorned with these flowers. She's wearing her gold crown, the money is coming in, she's really thriving. So yeah, look where we can make some judgment calls. What blocks can we remove, either external? What baggage can we let go of, external or internal? Hope that resonated. Thank you, Anshuman. So you've moved on from Zoya and ready for new adventures. Let's see what comes next then. So what is coming towards Anshuman in love? Four of Swords, we need to initially take some time out and rest, Anshuman. I'll see what comes after this, but understanding the importance of taking a break from being in that kind of intense place where you were with Zoya. And the Four of Swords is about, we see this hedgehog here who is hibernating, which maybe you feel like you would just like to move on and make another connection and kind of get back out there. But we must always understand that in work, in love, just in life, yeah, that resting is just as important as action. So there's this need to, it's like a palate cleanse, yeah, to take a pause before we go on to the next thing. It's something about Swords as well, is truly kind of cutting that connection with our past. A clean break, not bringing our baggage with us. I'm glad that you have made that break, Anshuman. So what comes next after we have this pause, this break? If things are quiet, you know, if you feel maybe you want to have some time alone, Anshuman, maybe that would be beneficial. Yourself, ground yourself, so we're not just spiraling on to the next thing, yeah. But we're grounded once we have rested, once we have reconnected. What comes next, Spirit, in love for Anshuman? Oh my goodness, there's still some old energy that needs to be cleared out, Anshuman. I feel like you're in a kind of tricky time here. I wonder if Zoya will come back, try to come back into the picture, and you'll have to make some tough choices, some tough decisions here. The Tower moment, like I've touched on before, this came through, is about when people are being taken out of our lives, okay, like that kind of a clear out, a spiritual clear out, and we're being set up and we're being put on a path that really does align with us. But the process of that can be tricky, can be tough. So this may be happening now, and this is all that Spirit is kind of going to go and touch on for us for Anshuman. This is you maybe kind of weathering that storm, but we're still in an energy of you're kind of being rerouted. I feel like it could take a period, this happen first before a new connection and the right connection can come through for you. So ride this out and understand that this is the best for you. So you might experience some upheaval, you might experience some false starts in connections. Allow the people that aren't right for you to leave your life. Ultimately, you'll be in a better place once this has happened. I hope that resonated, Anshuman. Okay, thank you, Namira. I'm just post the... We have Namira, and then we have Debaya, if you were here, my love. I feel like Karen have I read for you. I don't know if you're Crystal or if I'm just because I'll take you off the list if that is you. Just confirm. But let's, Namira, this is for you, my love. So Namira says, like you already said about my son Christian, has a strong bond with his girlfriend in China, and he is back there for 2 weeks. Ah yes, I remember this. Sadly, his best friend is not happy for him. What is going on? Oh, interesting. They're best friends from high school. My son helped him with his depression all of the years. Oof, that's hard. That's not nice, is it? And his best friend isn't happy that he's happy. That's not good. That's some... Let's see what Spirit says, but they want him all to themselves, Namira, more than likely, yeah. I mean, being kind they are probably feeling insecure that they're going to lose him. Okay, being kind. Let's see what this friend is feeling. Oh, honestly, this is like collective energy here. The Tower card. Are they in a struggle? Or maybe they've obviously been through a struggle if they have the depression. Ultimately, I feel like with this Tower card though, what it's saying, it has many messages, the Tower card, but I do feel like that they are afraid of losing him. Now they need to find that trust and that generosity obviously in their heart, and understand that Christian can have room for both, yeah, and that obviously helping his friend so much, you know, to have that generosity, to want Christian to be happy. But you know, not everyone can always rise to this occasion and level up in that way, really, and offer that grace. It's grace, isn't it, that even though, you know, it's natural in a way to feel insecure, to feel worried that, so if someone we care about kind of things change in a relationship, or they connect with someone in a strong way, it's kind of natural that you would feel like, you know, this is going to change our relationship and this is scary and I don't want to lose them. But it's on us, and it's up to us to rise above that, yeah? And have some faith and offer this person grace as well, that that's our issue, that's our problem, and there is enough love for everyone to go round, okay? So that's interesting that you would say that, Namira, because yes, it's hard for my son. His best friend is not in contact with my son anymore after they came back from holiday. So I'm wondering, again, the Tower moment, like we touched on throughout this, as difficult as it is, and the Tower card is difficult energy, it clears people out who aren't meant for us. So maybe, you know, this friendship has run its course. Maybe they will connect at a later date, but I don't think your son should fight for this connection necessarily. And it may be that this person has now, like, in some way, spirit has had an intervention and removed them from Christian's life. Does that make sense? So Christian's kind of having a Tower moment themselves, yeah? Sometimes, and it's often in a brutal way when we see the Tower card, but spirit removes people from our lives for a reason, when they are no longer meant for us. And I genuinely think like that this is the message and the energy for Christian. I don't know if you can maybe, if that resonates with you, Namira, convey that to him so that he doesn't feel bad about this or responsible. Anything else, Spirit? Page of Wands just says, you know, don't take any action, just gather information, assess the situation. This is Christian advice for him. He's done nothing wrong here. He's just living his life. And if this friendship, you know, has come to its end as well. But the Page of Wands as well, I feel like, don't make any action. So he doesn't have to chase his friend. He doesn't have to have a big conversation with him or reach out to him or try to chase this down. We just need to kind of sit in our own power and just let this unfold as it needs to. Make the move when it feels necessary, if it feels right, if we have to take it down the line. But for now, I feel like do nothing. Namira says, yes, he tried to talk to him but gave up. Yeah, so just let that, just give up in a way. Just accept it for what it is for now. It may change further down the line. Something may shift. But just allow this to, even though it's painful, allow this to unfold as it should, and don't make it, I would say for Christian, not to make any moves, no action now. So I hope that resonated, Namira. So Devea, my love, if you are here, please go ahead and post. Namira says, yes, he doesn't feel responsible. Good. He's just letting it as it is. Good. I'm glad he doesn't feel guilt, responsibility. It's very painful because really his friend has let him down after all that support. And he can't be happy for him, which is something that that friend obviously needs to work on. Opening his heart, yeah? You're welcome, Namira. Debate says, hi, career reading please. I'm wondering if I should take a management position in someone's business or look for other options. So is this an offer, debate, that you've had then, yeah? Let's have a look at the energy regarding taking this management position and see what that would bring, and then let's see what other options would bring. Spirit, the management position for Devea, what would that bring? And other options, what could that bring? I mean, that could bring anything, but let's see what Spirit has to say. Ooh. So things would move fast. Eight of Wands is fast moving energy. It's fire, busyness. I would say, Devea, if you are ready to fly by the seat of your pants, then this is the kind of job for you. Interestingly, we have a snake here as well, which it just reminds me a little bit of that Judgment card, of that it would be quite transformative, this energy. This undertaking, it might change you, maybe a change that you would like, give you a confidence boost, give you maybe financial boost. But what I would say is, if you were to take this on, that it would be fast-paced. It could be quite stressful. It could be quite challenging, but it also could be exciting. So it kind of depends what you're looking for here, Devea. If that's something you would like to embrace, then maybe that's the right path to choose. So here's the other end. Look at other business opportunities. We have a major arcana here. And we have justice. I mean, this is, I feel like what came through was the, often I get kind of like quotes that come through to me that are channeled, and the justice card, what came through for you, Devea, was that you will land on your feet regardless. Okay, so there are other opportunities for you out there. So don't take this from a place of lack. Okay, don't think that there aren't other opportunities out there for you, because there certainly are. It would require kind of for you to surrender to the process, I think, with this justice card, as in if you were to take other routes, it would involve kind of trusting the process. Maybe if it took some time to find new work, it's almost a bit like being on a knife edge here, because we are stood on a knife edge. So it would be more, maybe the more risky path, obviously turning down an opportunity if we haven't got something secure lined up. Do that, depends what you, this may forging your own path more, and like to be the risky. Ultimately, maybe it would offer more fulfillment it depends what you want, really. Do you need the security of work and kind of want to go into something busy, fast paced, kind of stressful, but maybe rewarding? Or do we want to really go for our bigger dream, bigger ambition? This is positive, saying that it is possible, but it would take faith, trust, patience, being scared, even being on a knife edge, you know, risky times, times without guaranteed income, all of that kind of thing. Yeah, so it's been kind of realistic about what this path offers. So I hope that resonated, Devaya. You're welcome, Namira. Okay, Kristen and Sonali, you were next, my dears. We have Kristen, Sonali, Stephanie. I don't know who's left here. Kerry Ann, who I'm not sure if that is Crystal. Maybe not. I'm glad that was helpful, Devaya. Glad that resonated. Thank you, Stephanie. I'll just wait to see if Kristen or Sonali is here. Maybe not. I'll read for Stephanie as you've posted. So I don't normally read about dreams, but let's see. Did you know this person in real life, Stephanie? Thanks for letting me know, Sasha. Go ahead and post your questions, Sasha, because I'm not sure who's here still. So if you are still here, please just go ahead and post your question, and I'll just read. I'll try and stick to the list, but you don't know them, okay? So it was more just like an energy. Or you think maybe it could be a prediction. Interesting. What comes through, okay, so maybe what I was trying to tell you. Tell you what resonates, leave what doesn't with this. We're on Stephanie at the minute, Sasha. Have you been doing some spiritual work, some internal work? Because the Eight of Pentacles is about doing the work, okay? It could be that you're trying to actually build something in the 3D, like working on your career, producing something of value, or it could be that you've been doing some internal work. So tell you what resonates with that one. And what it can do is when we're doing this, it can bring up our kind of hidden fears, hidden anxieties here about being taken advantage of. Maybe this thing that you have been working on, that you have been building, that it could be taken away. Also, parallel to this, running alongside this, is the Eight of Cups, which is about walking away from what no longer serves us. Part of this work that you've been doing is kind of creating, is you're doing internal. So this is Eight of Cups is a continuation of that, of not putting up with what we once would, Stephanie, okay? And walking away from people, places, things that do not serve us, and daring to ask for more and holding that boundary. So I think what came up, and often with dreams, what's good about them is that it tells us what's happening in our unconscious, and also releases, can release an energy of what we don't know, what we no longer need. So I feel like you're leveling up, and this internal work is paying off, and you are reaching a place inside of yourself, and how that will manifest is not putting up with what you once did in the past. And this is really just a fear that has arisen from your subconscious, is about being betrayed, or about putting up with something that you once did, sort of almost like a fear of going backwards. And I suppose these cards, I feel like, have come through to reassure you that that won't happen, that with each building block here, look, with each pentacle, you are really laying the foundation, a strong foundation, and building something beautiful, and building a strong boundary within you here. This could almost be not a wall, because a wall has negative connotations, but a boundary within yourself that can't be pushed, okay, that will stand the test of time when it is tested, because it will be tested by people in the future. So you're going in the right direction, and you are building something strong. And this dream really just came up as some kind of fear and anxiety, to think, oh goodness, you know, I'm doing all this, will it work? Yes, it will. Yeah, so I hope that resonated. Okay, so I'm dotting about here. So Sonali is here. Has Sonali posted her question? So where's Sasha? I'll read for I'm just going to read in order, okay, because I don't want it to get too complicated. So I'll just read for Alvin, Sasha, Alvin, Sunrise, Sonali. So Sasha, this is for you. So Sasha asks, what's Kijana, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name, what's Kijana feelings for me, and will he reach out? So I don't do yes no questions, okay? We are no contact due to serious domestic issues in the relationship. I was hoping he would reconcile because we have a daughter together. Serious domestic issues? I don't want to sort of encourage reconciliation. Toxic, Sasha? Does that just mean sort of financial? I'm glad that helps, Stephanie. let's see what their feelings in a way. We can ask that, Kajana's feelings for you and this connection, Sasha. But finance and visitation stuff, okay. So let's see how they're feeling about all of this. Okay, so after, like you have described with the Six of Swords, you know, a tumultuous time, very choppy waters, the Six of Swords is a transition, is a period of transition and change into a quieter period, okay, into a more peaceful era. So this is positive, this is what they want, this is what they view about the situation. So if they're able to express this or not yet, I don't know, okay, where this can be happening now or it can be in near future, but there's certainly the seeds are there of this. Now we can see here it is, they get that it's kind of an uphill, it's going to take effort, yeah? We see this turtle like sort of having to push against the ocean to put in the effort to make this change. So it's being realistic, as Spirit always is about with its message, that of course change takes effort and work, and this is good really that they kind of understand this as well. But ultimately their intention, their feelings, their thoughts about this is they do with their, if they can manage it or not is another question. Six of Swords, because swords are about communication. As you probably already realize, this is what needs to change, okay? There are some outdated thoughts maybe about each other, about the situation, about how we approach this, that are outdated and that need to change. So it's like this whole situation kind of needs an upgrade, like a computer system also getting that image and message, you know, like needs a reboot. So any old thought patterns or toxic kind of communication, you know, traits that we've had, maybe we haven't communicated best to each other in the past, that kind of stuff, that's what needs to change in order to get into the peaceful waters. And the star is a star of hope. So Sasha, this is okay for you. It's a major arcana. And this is a nice card to come through always. The star has a very pure energy and it's a star of hope and wish upon a star. So it's almost like a wish come true kind of energy, yeah? So this tells me that yes, there is still hope and chance in waters to get to a better place. It will understandably take work on both your part and improving what matters with those communication issues, how we speak to each other, ideas about each other that maybe need to be upgraded and changed. If we can do that, if we can put in the work, then yes, there is still hope. I hope that resonated. Okay, Alvin, just give me a shout that you're here. Alvin asks, career reading. My job interview last week went fairly well. My last reading with you was right before it. Good, thanks for letting me know. But I haven't heard anything since then. What is emerging from the silence? Oh, this annoys me about jobs sometimes. Welcome, Sasha. Thanks, Alvin. So how long has it been timeline? Last week. Let's see what's happening. Well, let's see what the end, like I said, I don't do yes, no, but let's see what the energy is around this. mind. I haven't decided, Alvin. They're being a bit wishy-washy, potentially. Seven of Cups kind of warns against illusion for some reason. Maybe someone in the mix here, some manager, someone in part of the process isn't maybe being realistic. I don't know how that would matter. But they're looking at all the different prospects, all the different potential candidates, you being one of them. And they haven't, it just tells me very clearly they haven't made the decision yet. So there's not much that you can do about that. Obviously, then wait this out. But that's what tells me is happening behind the scenes. And I feel like this person, really, the advice would be, to me, what I'm hearing is like they just, like maybe they're trying to, I don't know, there's something about it where it's like they just need to kind of get on with it. They just need to pull the trigger. I'm going to ask about what this job would bring, kind of the energy around it maybe. I don't know if we did that in the last reading, but let's see what is going on now. This kind of company, this kind of vibe, what it would bring to you. Two of Swords, interesting. Something about you being faced with a decision. Two of Swords potentially getting a bit in your head. So what this would suggest that with jobs, with work, and maybe with this, is that if the offer comes through, but you might have more than one offer. So I don't know if there's other jobs that are in the picture, or maybe that's something that will come through. Just how things are aligned. It's like, or maybe you'll have some indecision about taking this job or not. I don't know how this will manifest, but there's something about you having to make a choice and having a fork in the road. And like this frog having to take a leap, yeah. And trust your intuition, Alvin, on this, as always. But what can happen is, I suppose, with this message, the Two of Swords, is that yes, we can look at the facts and we can look at what we're being told about something and think about things and be critical. I keep sort of critical thinking keeps coming in this session. Something about that being very important at the moment. But also we need to allow our gut instinct on this one as well. When taking a leap of taking a job, we need to trust our gut and trust our intuition and not just use our head. Okay, not just be analytical. Don't just think, oh, I have to be totally non-emotional about this. It's okay to also, if your gut is kind of screaming yes or no on something, then, you know, we've got to pay attention to what feels wrong or right on this. Hope that helped, Alvin. Okay, so now we have Sonali. Just give me a shout, Sonali, to let me know you're here. Sonali asks, Sarab's current feelings towards me, no contact, situationship. Let's have a look what's going on for them, Sarab. I hope I'm pronouncing, I'm probably, forgive me. Thank you, Sonali. I feel like I picked up this on them before. Like, I feel very much like with this Nine of Pentacles, so the kind of more shadow side of this card can be that someone is, can you see how they're quite closed off? Yeah, They've got their eyes closed off, and sometimes the Nine of Pentacles can be like an overly independent card and kind of just doing them, like almost as well, like looking after themselves, putting themselves first, which in theory, like, you know, there's nothing wrong with that up to a point. But if they are this bear, yeah, looks to me like this reading for you is that they've kind of withdrawn from everything. I don't really see other people in the picture. Sonali here, don't see other people in the picture for them, but I see that they're in kind of shutdown and closed off at the moment, Sonali, so they're not open to this connection. They're not open to any connection. King of Cups, again, it can be that they're licking their wounds, maybe, that they are sulking, because the King of Cups, when they are thriving, they are emotionally intelligent, they are deep thinkers, feelers, empaths, sensitive. In their shadow side, they can be moody, again, they can shut down, they can sulk. So I feel like that's where they're at the moment, Sonali. Okay, so there's not much that you can do about that, but this gives us understanding about where they're at. Obviously this can change, this is current energies. They will emerge, you know, out of this hibernation at some point, and then maybe communication will come back round for you. But at the minute they seem to be in their feelings. I don't know if it's the situation with you that got them there, something else in their life, but they've kind of shut down. Maybe this is something that they do historically as well. And you really can't force them out of this. You'll just have to allow them to work and see what happens on the other side of this. Ooh. So I hope that resonated, Sonali. Okay. Hey, not give a damn, thank you for posting. Alvin, I'm glad that resonated. Anyone else who is still here, this is the last shout out, just to post your question. So I have Sunrise, if you are here. And I think that's everyone. Not give a damn is maybe the last read for today. So not give a damn. Thanks for your patience, for waiting for your reading. Not give a damn. Oh, hey Sunrise, go ahead and post, my love. So carry on. I don't do general readings. If you want to rephrase, if you want to ask a different question, please do. So not give a damn. I want to know how me. Will he come to meet me as he promised? He seemed somewhat emotionally closed off from me, so I want to know what's his true intentions with me. Okay, not give a damn, this is for you. Sorry, Sunrise. It got a bit messy there with the order of things. Okay, so not give a damn. So I'll read for not give a damn, then Sunrise, because I skipped Sunrise, and then carry on. I'll read for you if you want to rephrase your question. Like I say, I don't do general readings. Okay, not give a damn. Let's have a look at their intentions. So let me just go back to yoga. Was there some kind of disagreement? Because Five of Swords can be like if there's some tension, there's some disagreements, yeah? I know you said he felt somewhat emotionally closed off. So this could be some conflict directly between you two that's still lingering. Or it could be something that is going on with friends connection that I feel like has got them in this kind of almost this harsh the Five of Swords brings. Now with the Five of Swords, it does tell me that this will blow over. So that's something positive to take from this kind of tension feeling, this kind of negative vibes that are lingering. I feel like we will shift out of this, but something has got them, Yogesh, in this space. And I feel like they feel kind of isolated. Yeah, there we go, the Four of Swords, kind of isolated, again, kind of shut down. They want a kind of break from life. And that's why you're getting this kind of distant, closed off feelings. They need to take some time out and have a pause in order to kind of regroup, in order to heal, in order to get their head straight, okay? So it's just one question per reading, not give a damn. So for us to get through everything, if you want to join us Friday for more questions. But this is Yogesh's true feelings about you and through this situation, okay? They're in a tough spot, they're in the tension, they need some time out to regroup, to heal. And you said you had a disagreement, so they're still feeling the repercussions of that, yeah? Maybe still feeling hurt, maybe still feeling stressed, some anger here. So give them time, give them that time to give some space to regroup and to heal and to shift out of this before push this or force communication. Let this time out and rest happen. Okay, so sunrise, this is for you, my love. I'm wondering about the field in which I should pursue my master's degree. I'm a bit lost. Okay. Let's see how this comes through, because it might not say a specific field. That's not really how because I'm an energy reader, it's not really how I read the cards, sunrise, but it will give you some guidance, okay? And maybe tap into, we can certainly ask what will help guide you through this to the right field, etc., that you should go into, that would be best for you. See what Spirit says. Interesting. Six of Cups is, it's about, I hope this resonates, okay? It's about connecting to something, often the Six of Cups, with something from the past, something that brought us a lot of joy. So it can be a connection, or it can be, so there's a few messages coming through here. There's a need here to reconnect to your joy and to reconnect to maybe family and friends from the past to help ground you and help remember who you are. I know you said that you were feeling lost, but also directly in relation to your masters. There's something from the past maybe that you felt very connected to, that brought you lots of happiness, that maybe you can circle back round to and now revisit. Because it's about yeah, it just, this card, this energy is very much about connecting to something that has already, that you've already explored. And something might come up, you know, in your intuition when you think of that immediately, maybe even when you're having this reading, that you know what that is. It might happen instantaneously that your intuition brings that up. If not, it might take some time and some intention and effort for you to try to reconnect to that. But that's the place that I feel like Spirit is guiding you. Is, you know, this is often interesting. This card is often as well about inner child connections and healing that part of yourself. Got back to maybe even as a child brought you some joy. Okay, there we go. So I feel it can do some to do with something creative fields. And maybe that's something that, you know, that you are a creative spirit, a creative soul. So follow that sunrise, follow the breadcrumbs, yeah? Thanks for one more. Anything else, Spirit? Just anything else that you need to know that is useful on this journey? Lovely energy. The Empress, the Divine Feminine. But this is about nurturing the mother, not forcing the situation. So yeah, again, that kind of creativity about this. There's a gentleness to this whole thing. So maybe not trying to push yourself into doing something that, again, that you think you should, or something. This is about something that you need to enjoy. Yeah. The Empress is very abundant, so it says that this can work out, and it's about finding something, I think, that would nurture your soul as well. So we need to water it, we need to feed it, we need to have sunlight to our soul. But look how kind of, they're both very gentle energies in a way, and the power in gentleness. And I feel like that's what you need to work towards in order to reconnect to yourself, your voice, to one, so you don't feel as lost, sunrise, but also the field in which you need to go in. Again, a kind of connection about with the child, because the Emperor is, we have the mother and the child here featured again. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't with that sunrise. Creative fields, maybe even the field of, I don't know if there's anything about actual, you know, child psychology or child education, potentially. I'm just putting that out there. Okay. And last but not least, Kerry Ann. So tell me about the situation, just a little bit more about about O'Connor, Kerry. Are we in no contact? Is this a new connection? Is this a situationship? You're welcome, sunrise. Keep us posted, sunrise, yeah? Let me know how this unfolds for you. Just wait and see. No contact, broke up after argument. Okay. What does he feel towards you? Let's have a look. O'Connor. Eight of Wands. So this is actually, I mean, Eight of Wands is actually fast moving energy, movement towards you. So it could suggest, how long has this no contact been, Carrie Ann? Because this would suggest like a switch up is on its way. And that they could come rushing in with something to say. They want action, they want change, because that's what Wands is all about. Yeah, it's fire energy. That's certainly how they feel anyway, even if they are not obviously manifesting this in their actions. Behind the scenes, there are still emotions that are running high. They still see you as in this Queen energy. Pentacles is someone who has it together, okay? If you feel it or not, they still see you in that light. Queen of Pentacles is abundant, is savvy, multitasker, hard worker, has a lot going for her, is living her life, okay? So maybe they think that you've moved on, that you've maybe not as affected, maybe you've done a really good job at kind of making out that you're not that affected, but deep down you are still bothered about this. But they still see you in a good light and still see you as this Queen of Pentacles, yeah? Just going to get to the bottom more of what, because this is all good, so why the block, you know? Why the no movement? I'll directly ask that. Why is the no contact continued? If for all this, Spirit, if we see they see you in a good light, Eight of Wands would suggest that they want movement, they want change. What's the block? Eight of Swords. In their head, anxious, worried, being, you know, waking up at 3 a.m. and feeling anxious. Where you know where this might stem from? Maybe they can't find the courage, Carrie Ann, to take a risk, yeah? As time's gone on and, you know, as no communication has gone on, maybe the fear of rejection, something, they're very in their head, okay? Anxious, worried, in their head about this. Sounds like me, not him. I mean, I asked her what's the block in him, so that is what came through. Final one. Whatever that energy is, okay, that's the block, this anxiety, this worry, this Swords energy. They do want movement, they do want change in this. And then this is Wands. And then we do have Ace of Wands here, which is actually tells me that they could find the courage or find whatever it is, make that decision, yeah, make the leap to actually start communication here, because Ace is a new start, a kind of a fresh start, a new beginning. And it's fire energy, and it's like taking a risk. It does seem that's what it feels to be about, that there's some kind of block about taking a risk. I don't know the ins and outs, obviously, of what brought you into no contact, but the Ace of Wands is like, feels like an olive branch, feels like reaching out, feels like communication. And then see what happens from there. This is, Aces are all about potential. And I feel like this urgency, this Eight of Wands kind of urgency that is coming from them, they will eventually give it. The stars will align, say, or the time will align correctly, and you will have some form of communication coming through as of Ace of Wands. And then it will be interesting to see what they have to say, where this can go, what can happen from there. But it will move the situation forward, which I feel is what's needed, because we're in a kind of stagnant energy now. We need change, we need movement. Even with this Ace of Wands, it will either move this relationship forward to that you can try again, or it may bring closure, you know, if nothing's changed, or, you know, something like that. But there will be something that bursts through this quiet, you know, the silence. Some noise will come through, communication will come through, because they still hold you in high regard. Okay, leave it there. I hope that brought you, I hope that resonated. I hope that brought you some clarity. Some messy energy there still though, because the message didn't come through. You know, it was difficult to get to the root cause of that message. But I hope you got enough from that to gain some insight, Carrie Ann. Okay, I'm going to end the live there, guys. Thank you all so much for joining today's live. I hope the messages you received brought you clarity, brought you some peace for the days ahead. Remember to take what resonates, inner guidance. I'll be back for another live on Friday. Watch out on Thursday for the time to be confirmed, and the list will also be open there, so you can pre-book. You can get spots do fill up quickly nowadays, so you can get on the list early. But until then, be kind to yourselves, keep centering your energy, and stay open to the guidance around you from Spirit, sending you all love and light. Take care, and I'll see you soon.